Hello guys, welcome to Players Guild. My name is Loki, and today we are going to be looking at part 2 of the Protectors review for the Mercenary, the new game mode in Hearthstone. If you haven't seen it already, there is a part 1 on the channel where we talk about the first 8 Protector Mercenaries. This is going to be part 2, and after that we're also going to do videos on fighters and casters. And when we're done with all of those, there is going to be theory crafting, both for PvE and PvP. So without further ado, let's start this review. First hero that we're going to look at is Ashfallen, one of the titular mercenaries from the new story that Blizzard made. So he's the Demon Hunter mercenary, a Night Elf Demon Hunter, with his stats being quite interesting. So on level 1 he starts with 1 attack and 12 health, which is quite a high health at this level. Then level 15 he has 6 attack and 39 health. And then he goes level 30, he has 13 attack and 69 health. So he has fairly low health when he levels up fully, but fairly high attack, which is interesting in on its own. He is obviously a melee character, but 69 life, it is a fairly low, so a good concentrated caster team up should be able to take him out quickly. Because casters deal double damage to the protectors, protectors deal double damage to fighters, and fighters to casters. We have the rock, paper, scissors thing. So his first ability is Demon Slayer, a 5-speed ability that attacks an enemy. If it is a demon, he gains 2 attack first, so he's a typical demon-hating character. If demons are going to be any good, this is definitely one of the characters to have in a lineup if you have a melee lineup, or a Night Elf support, I guess, would also work. So it scales nicely till rank 3, where he gets plus 6 attack. After that, when you scale him up, he only is faster, so he has speed 4, and then speed 3 afterwards. He's not bad. It's not a bad ability, it's his basic ability. I think keeping it at speed 5 is perfectly fine. I don't think you would ever need to level it up unless you have spare coins for him and nothing else to spend it on. Because I don't think getting him to speed 3 is actually going to change an awful lot. Because mostly it's going to be depending if your opponent has a demon. Would be nice if we had something that summons a demon for your opponent, a demon token. Next ability is Aimless Assault, which is 9 speed, so very slow ability, and cooldown 1. You attack a random enemy. If it's a left or rightmost enemy, gain immune this turn. So, and as you level it up, it goes faster. So this one is one that definitely you want to upgrade further up, although I think it's still going to be a speed 5, so it's still not going to be the fastest. The fact that you can attack something with immune with 13 attack is quite good. Problem is you don't target what you're attacking, and I think that might be a tad too much. Because if you manage to hit the middle, or if you're playing against tokens, it's just going to be not that good, and you're going to be taking damage back. On the other hand, if you are playing against caster comp, not caster comp, the ability comp rather than melee comp, it might be better. Because spell comps are not going to be having high attack, so they're not going to deal that much damage back. And then we have I-Beam. His final ability is I-Beam, which is 6 speed and 1 cooldown. It deals 4 damage, and you restore that much health to this mercenary. So it's a fell ability, so any fell damage, I think Jaraxxus actually, to make it funny, the demons support fell damage. So the more damage you can deal with I-Beam, the more you can heal this mercenary. And again, as all the abilities, the breakpoint is rank 3, which increases damage to 10, and then every other rank after that just increases damage by 1 more, up to 12 damage, which his attack still does more, but you can heal. I think the fact that you can heal and the fact that you can increase this damage to heal is going to be important. Now for his equipment. The first equipment is Chaos Amulet, which flat out increases the damage of your I-Beam for up to 6. Starts at 3 and then goes up to 6. It's actually not bad if you're going that route that you actually want Kurtrus in your composition. It's not bad to give him a bit more healing, because every other turn he can heal 19 damage, 10, 11, 12, 18 damage. 18 damage he can heal every turn. That's alright. I don't think that's a big difference. I mean, 18 damage is a lot of damage to be healed, but this one, Fell Blade, is, I think, way more important. I-Beam also gives +1 or +2 fell damage if you upgrade this, which means that you use your first I-Beam, assuming it's max level, it's going to be 12 damage. The next one is going to be 14, and it's progressively healing you more, to the point that they literally need to concentrate and kill your Kurtrus in one hit. It is progressive if they're going to hit him quickly if you don't have enough support. I think with Fellblade you can have a nice build around Kurtrus and have some other characters giving fell damage and make sure that he survives until he builds up enough fell damage himself that he doesn't need those other supporting characters. And I think that might be an interesting way to build him. Not sure if it would be any good. He's definitely going to be good in PvE, especially in the bounties where there's lots of demons. So I might look into making a PvE build against demons. And there we go. The last one is Demon Guard, which passively gives +1 attack. And this merc always deals critical damage to demons. So you can increase the attack gain up to 4. But this is a typical anti-demon equipment. I would be struggling to think which one would work better, the Fellblade or the Demon Guard against a PvE. I am going to be looking into it. I'm definitely interested to see which one is going to do better. As far as Kurtrus goes, I think he's definitely a PvE character against demons. I think he's going to do alright. I don't think he's going to be necessary. He's going to make your runs against demons way easier. I'll put it this way. If there's going to be bounty where there's only demons, he's going to be amazing. If there is not going to be a bounty like that, then he might be alright. He's a rare. All in all, he's not too he's not overwhelming, he's not underwhelming, he's alright. At the same time, I don't think he's a character that I will be looking to actively upgrade, so he's going to be a C. Artus Menethil, aka the Lich King. So he is a very powerful mercenary. On level 1, he has 3 attack and 13 health, which is quite a lot. Level 15, he hits 7 attack and 43 health, which again puts him in the really nice brackets. But then on level 30, he has 12 attack, which is up there for melee characters, and 77 health, which is, yeah, it's reasonable. It's in that between 70 and 80. He is nice and tanky. He does have a set of really ridiculous abilities, and he's also one of the pre-order mercenaries you can get. So, starting with his first ability, Frostbite. It's a 9-speed ability that says, attack an enemy. The ability it casts this turn is permanently 1 speed slower. And with every level up, it increases, it makes itself faster and the other ability even slower. So at level 5, it is 5-speed ability that slows down your opponent's ability by 5. This is ridiculous ability in on its own, because it can change the order of how abilities are working. If you're trying to break some combo, like fire combo combinations, arcanes and things like that, you can put your opponent out of order for what they want, and that slowdown is permanent. That ability, if the ability had initial speed of 5, after you hit it with Frostbite 5, it's going to have permanent speed of 10. And it's going to stay that way, unless they speed it up or something like that. Which is, yeah, one thing I do want to test is how this is going to be working with Blink Fox and his thieving ability. But as far as it goes, Frostbite is one of the most if not the most ridiculous ability I have seen in Mercenaries so far. His next ability is Death Coil, a very classic ability. If you ever played Warcraft 3, it was his primary ability. So it's a 7-speed ability with 1 cooldown. It's a shadow ability, which might have some synergies, but it's generally strong ability on its own. So on rank 1 it deals 6 damage to an enemy or heals a friendly character by 10. It's very similar to Alexstrasza's breath, life breath, or whatever it was called. So as majority of the abilities, it has the best breaking point at rank 3, dealing 14 damage to enemy or healing 22. But the increases up to rank 5 are actually nothing to scoff at, because it can deal 18 damage or heal 30 health to a friendly character. That can include the Lich King himself. So it can do tons of damage. 18 damage is nothing to scoff at. Like, quite literally, he has 12 attack. He doesn't increase his own attack or his own damage. He just makes opponents slower. But that 18 damage or heal himself for 30, I think is going to be really, really useful, especially with his last ability, which is Frost Shield. 5-speed ability with 2 cooldown. It's a Frost ability, which is interesting. Arthas gains Taunt this turn, and after an enemy attacks him, you freeze it until the end of next turn. Which means that they're going to be frozen for all the Frost synergies you might want to have with Jaina, his ex-lover, or with the new mercenary. We're going to be talking all of that in Caster's video. Here, just concentrating on Arthas and the Lich King. At rank 3, so at rank 2 you increase it by speed by 1. At rank 3 you reduce the cooldown by 1. And then rank 4 you increase the speed by 1, and rank 5 you increase speed by 1. So eventually when you upgrade it fully, it's speed 2 and cooldown 1, and you only get that taunt for 1 turn. There is some interactions in here. It is a good ability that helps keep your other stuff alive and can stop your opponents from attacking, but because they're essentially frozen. I'm going to be making a whole video about how different keywords work in Mercenaries from Hearthstone, but freezing an opponent is not a bad thing. Then we have his first equipment, and I think the most important equipment and the only equipment you should ever run on Lich King is Frostmourne. It has only 1 level. Frostbite slows the target's neighbors as well. You hit the middle character with your Frostbite, and you slow down the characters on the left and right as well, with their ability that they use this turn. This is ridiculous. You slow down 3 characters by 5, and you can do that every turn until you feel like they used all the abilities that matter. And then you just steamroll with everything else you have. You slow them down, and that's that. I think Lich King is going to be one of the most important characters to have. His other equipment is Void Threads, which makes Death Coil always heal this mercenary. So you can heal up to 40 damage from Arthas if you decide to go for this. This might be a decent choice for PvE, but for PvP I think that Frostbite is going to be more important. Or the Frostmourne. And finally, Helm of Domination. It's a passive. After an enemy casts an ability 7 speed or higher, you deal 3 damage to them. And this increases all the way up to 6 damage anytime they use an ability. It is an interesting thing. It would require you to hit certain things with your Frostbite. More often than not, I think you would be getting Frostmourne though to slow down the other abilities. Maybe those Void Threads if you're going PvE and you want your Lich King to heal himself. But yeah, I think if your composition has an empty slot, you should put Lich King in it. And you can use Lich King to disrupt your opponent. When Lich King dies, you put in someone from your composition in that slot. And then you just steamroll your opponent because you're going to be always acting first. I think this is going to be really important for fire composition, maybe even frost composition. A lot of compositions want to act first. So you do the setup with Lich King and another character, and then you steamroll the front row, because majority of people are going to be putting their good setup on the front row. I think a good I think a setup team on the front row is going to be more important. So Brightwing, which is boosting your bench, Lich King that slows down your opponents, etc. And then you put out your big hitting team after they wipe your board, because Brightwing can also retreat itself if it needs to. So I think Arthas, the Lich King, is going to be one of the most important characters to have for PvP. That being said, I think this mercenary is going to be ranked an S. It's superior to every other mercenary I have seen so far. I can't think of any other mercenary that I would want to include in every single composition I have. The next mercenary we're going to be talking about is the Eredar Lord of the Burning Legion, Lord Jaraxxus himself. If I can get him on, there we go. Lord Jaraxxus is a protected demon hero with level 1 stats of 4 attack and 13 health, which is one of the most ridiculous level 1 stats I have seen. Level 15, 6 attack and 43 health. And level 30, 9 attack and 76 health, so his attack goes all the way down. He is not a melee hero, which is important to note. He is a spellcaster. So, going into his abilities, there we go. His first ability is Legion Burst, which is an 8-speed ability that deals 4 damage to any target. On a death blow, it casts Fist of Jaraxxus on the same rank as the Legion Burst was, which is interesting on its own, because that means that you don't need to actually level up the Fist of Jaraxxus. You can just level up Legion Burst and just proc it that way. At the same time, Legion Burst, so on rank 3, which is the break point, it deals 12 damage, and the max rank, it deals 14 damage. And it does a good amount of damage. Before we go here, it's an 8-speed ability with no cooldown, so it's his basic ability. And Feast of Jaraxxus is 6-speed ability with 1 cooldown, which deals 4 damage to a random enemy and repeat for each of your other demons. As far as I know, if you're casting Fist of Jaraxxus with his first ability, you're going to be repeating it as well, because it's the same cast, right? So the more demons you have, it only counts other demons, so I assume it's up to 4 times. You can do a lot of damage with this, so you might want to cast it just on its own, because it scales up on rank 3, on the break point it has 10 damage, and then goes all the way up to 12. It's always 6 speed, always cooldown 1. So for that reason you might want to upgrade it, but if you are just going for that death blow, that is going to be perfectly fine to not upgrade this, or rather it's not that necessary to upgrade this. But you do need to set up the death blow, which should be fairly easy if you are doing PvE. If you're doing PvP, it might be a bit more difficult. And his final ability is the one that I like the most. I think that's going to be the first statement. And that's a Fell Inferno. 5-speed ability with cooldown 1 that summons an Inferno. We know that on rank 1 it is 4/4. I assume it doubles in stats with every rank, but I'm not sure. As in gets 4/4, sorry, for every rank, which would end up being 20/20. I think that might be a bit much. It might be more alongside of 12/12 on rank 5. And on rank 3 it actually gets +2 fell damage rather than +1, so it can increase all your fell abilities, be that Demon Hunter, Warlock fell abilities, or Demon fell abilities. So I think this is going to be the important thing for Lord Jaraxxus, to increase all the fell damage in the Demon comp or fell comp. His first equipment is Amulet of Outrage, which flat out increases the damage by Fist of Jaraxxus by up to 5, so you can increase the damage all the way to 17. And 17 times 5, it's a good chunk of damage, because that's 85 damage split across 5 targets. Which is a good chunk of damage. If any of those hit critically, you do 17 times 2, 34 damage. So against fighters, that might be good. It is a flat out damage increase. Nothing more to say about that one. True Strike Gauntlets make Fist of Jaraxxus rather than hit the random target, it always targets the lowest health enemy. And I think this one is amazing, because you can set up your opponent's life to be fairly low, or if you have many demons, you can literally one-shot, because I just said that there's that 85 damage if you had with Amulet of Outrage. Without Amulet, it's 60 damage, I think. 5 times 5, yeah. So 60 damage, you can just smack down someone from 60 to 0. If you have True Strike Gauntlets and you have Fist of Jaraxxus with max level Fist of Jaraxxus with 4 other demons, this is amazing. And if you have a couple of Infernals laying around as well, it's just going to do a lot of damage. And I must say, I quite like this. I think it might be brilliant removal at some of the bounties as well. Not only PvP, but PvP it's going to be really strong, because you can take out any low health target. Because all the fell whatever's their name, they're not elementals. The Infernals, fell Infernals. They increase your damage by 2, right? So one of those makes it so your Fist of Jaraxxus does 14 damage. 2 of those makes it so your Fist of Jaraxxus does 16 damage. And 16 damage times 5, that's 80 damage. You can pretty much kill any mercenary. Yeah, I think you can pretty much kill any mercenary with that. So you do need to spend a couple of turns setting up the Infernals. The problem is that the Infernals also have cooldown 1, so you need to make sure that they survive. But even one Infernal, it increases your damage by a good amount. I think there's another demon that can summon demons. I might be wrong. And the last equipment is Felcore, which increases the damage given by Fell Infernal, which is... So I would be thinking between the True Strike Gauntlets and the Felcore while building. I think our Amulet of Outrage is alright, but I don't think it's that great. The increased Fell damage from the Fell Infernals, then cast Fist, or... I don't remember what was his basic ability called at this point. And I've just read it. But yeah, you increase the base damage of your abilities and other Fell abilities across the board that you have. So Gul'dan, for example, would be helpful with that, which is going to reduce the damage of Fist of Jaraxxus. Yes, that's the one that we're talking about, Fist of Jaraxxus. But might increase the damage because he has a very powerful ability, which I think is Fell, might be Shadow. But I'm going to be doing casters at some other point. Jaraxxus is strong. It has very scary potential in the right composition. If we get more demons, Jaraxxus is definitely going to be one of the spearheads for the demons, with the Fist of Jaraxxus starting with 3 demons and then just nuking one character out of existence. Probably not before they manage to do anything, but if you manage to do that, then whoa boy. Yeah, I think that's about that. I think Jaraxxus is a stellar hero. He does not work purely on his own, so that's fine, but he's an A hero. I would grade him as an A. And after dealing with the demons, let's meet up with the Archdruid, Varian Stormrage himself. So Varian Stormrage is a Protector Night Elf. On level 1, he's 1 attack and 10 health. On level 15, he's 3 attack, 38 health. And level 30, he has only 6 attack and only 68 health. He has very low health total. And that is a bit worrying because he's very, well, squishy for a protector. But let's have a look at his abilities. First of which is Cenarion Surge. So it's 4 speed ability, which deals 4 damage. And your character's nature abilities are 1 speed faster next turn. That does include Cenarion Surge, so you can permanently, not permanently, but you can keep on having it fast and fast and fast. It's a very good nature ability. it scales up to rank 3, where it increases damage all the way to 8, and it increases the speed of the abilities by 3, which is really good. So that gives that idea of very fast attacks. And then further rank ups only increase the damage all the way to 10. It's a good basic ability. It does stable damage, but it doesn't do massive damage at all. It's more of a support ability. Next one is Entangling Roots, which is 5 speed nature ability with 1 cooldown. That says deal 6 damage to an enemy and root it. Root is a new keyword for mercenaries, which essentially means that the character can't attack. So all the attack keywords just don't work. This is a counter to the attack keyword that we have. So if you root an enemy and their ability attack and then do something, the attack part won't work, but as far as I know, the rest of the ability will work. So for example, gaining attack if you declare an attack, etc. That will work. And this one scales in damage way better, because on rank 3 it deals 18 damage and rank 5 it goes to 20 damage. So it increases by quite a lot from 6 to 20. Even from 6 to 18, that's a lot of damage increase. So it seems like this one is going to be the better version of attack for Malfurion. At the same time, the first ability does let him attack quickly. The whole team attack quickly. And his final ability is Archdruid's Call, which is a choose one ability. It's a very on theme for Druid, where you choose what you want to do. So it either deals 4 damage to all enemies or heals 8 health to your characters. It has only cooldown 1, so it is really strong. On rank 3 it deals 10 damage or heals 20, and then on the rank 5 it deals 12 damage or heals 24, so it still has a good increase. The fact that it's AoE heal or AoE damage, and it's cooldown 1 only, which means you can do it every other turn. It is a strong ability. I am not sure on the nature synergies beside Malfurion, who can make nature abilities faster. So I am curious as to how he's going to work with some other compositions, because I don't see his spot anywhere beside the nature comp. His first equipment is Forest Medallion, which says Entangling Roots also slows the enemy's next ability by 1 speed, and this one scales all the way to 4 speed, which means that the ability is good not only against melee characters, but also is good against casting characters, the spell characters. It's interesting to slow it down, but I think that this ability altogether, this character is only good against a melee comp or that particular ability. Archdruid's Call, so next one is Briarthorn, and Archdruid's Call deals 2 more damage, and that scales all the way up to 5, which means 17 damage across the board, which is not bad, mostly in PvE situation. In PvP, I don't think this is going to be a very good character, as far as I can see it, unless we have really good nature characters somewhere else. And last one is Life Root Staff with passive ability. Whenever you cast a nature ability, restore 3 health to your characters. Okay, and that scales all the way up to 6, so doesn't matter what ability you use, you can suddenly heal your whole team. And if we combine that with fully upgraded Archdruid's Call, that is 30 damage healed to your team. And it's between 90 and 150 damage, I think. That is a good amount of heal. I'm not... Like, this is a good support character, because he can keep making himself faster, and he can make his basic ability be essentially 1 speed, deal some chunk damage, heal some chunk, and then Archdruid's Call is going to be a bit faster. You can do either AoE or you can heal your team. I think he's going to be really good in PvE. If you need to farm like low level PvE, he's going to be amazing. But we're also going to have lots of other characters that can do that. So I'm not sure that's where his strength lies. He also has very low health total, which worries me. Pardon me. I'm not convinced on Malfurion. I think he's nothing amazing. I don't think he should be a legendary, unless we have some nature interactions, nature composition that I haven't seen yet. I think he's at best B. We have the Pit Lord, Manure himself, the one who corrupted the orcs with his blood. So Manure is a protected demon hero with level 1 stats being 2 attack and 12 health, level 15 being 5 attack and 41 health, and level 30 being 10 attack, 73 health. 73 health is on the lower half of what we expect. Cause yeah, between 70 and 80 is still alright. He's not under 70, so that's a good sign. He has 10 attack, which suggests he might be a melee character with gaining a lot of attack. I am not sure because I don't remember his abilities. So let's just look into it. His first ability, his basic ability is Terror Charge with 5 speed. Attack an enemy. Give your demons +2 health. So he is going to make himself bigger. He's going to have a big butt. And then it scales quite nicely on rank 3. It gives 6 health to all your demons. Which you need to remember that it's not just one demon most likely. If you're using Manure, that means that you are going to be using other sorts of demons as well. So ideally you have 3 demons. So on rank 3 it's giving essentially 18 health, but split between 3 bodies. And it ranks all the way up to +8 health. It's a solid ability with an attack, so he is a melee character. At 10 attack he's not high enough. And then we have Fell Lash, which is Fell ability that does an attack. Full speed, deal 4 damage to an enemy. It can't heal this turn. So this is a counter to we have seen a lot of protectors that can heal themselves or other characters. If you want to target that one specific thing, Fell Lash. Manure with Fell Lash is your answer to that. Even though the ability caps at 10 damage, 8 damage still being alright on rank 3. I think this ability is generally going to be very useful. So my general thinking is that there is going to be a non-theme comp for PvP that's going to be good. And I think Fell Lash might be one of those abilities that you see there alongside of the Lich King's Frostbite. To slow down your opponent and make sure you can get those kills with Fell Lash if you feel like your opponent has too much healing going on. And his final ability is Howl of Terror, which is a 2-speed ability with 1 cooldown. Reduce the attack of all enemies by 3 this turn. And then on rank 3 it is 11, rank 5 it's 15, and I think this is an ability that is worthwhile being upgraded all the way to rank 5. Because for any melee comp, even if it's not a demon comp, this is an amazing ability because they don't hit you back essentially. You zero out their attack, and then you go with your Illidan, with your Kurtrus, with any of your melee character that just wants to hit and hit hard. This essentially can give your characters immunity every other turn. I think that's amazing. If this is going to work with melee demons, this might be actually quite scary because you use his basic attack to grant health to all the demons, and then you use Howl of Terror the next turn, and then just go for the flurry of attacks. Even with any comp, with any of the melee comps, this is going to be amazing. I think Samura would be quite good with this as well. So for his first equipment, he has Pit Lord's Staff. Terror Charge gives an additional 2 health, and that goes all the way up to 5 health. So you can give 11 health to all your demons, essentially healing them for 11 or over healing them for 11. It's a good equipment. I don't think it's going to be that great unless you... Again, this is a great equipment if you go for the melee demon comp. I'm not sure that's going to be a thing. Fell Spikes. Increase the damage done by Fell Lash. It scales all the way up to 6. 15 damage Fell Lash is actually quite good. Because then they can't heal, and that's a good amount of damage. Yeah, I like the Fell Spikes. And Fell Enhanced Lungs. Howl of Terror also does 2 damage to all enemies. And see, I really like this one. Because you are going to be using that Howl of Terror every turn you can. It has cooldown 1, so every other turn you're going to be using that. And Manure doesn't do any damage then. So you might want to at least get that additional 5 damage to your enemies. If you are not building a demon comp, I think Fell Enhanced Lungs are going to be the way you want to go. Because that's 5 damage, it keeps on adding up. If any of them are fighters, that's 10 damage. Definitely, you want to enhance his lungs with Fell. He is a massive boy though, and if you are going to be using Howl of Terror together with his charge, with his Terror Charge, and maybe every now and then Fell Lash if you need to, I think this is going to be an amazing... I think he's actually really strong. Just the fact that he can support any melee comp, he can make himself bigger, and he can stop your opponent from healing. With the equipments he has available, there is a good variety as well. I think he's actually, even though he's only an epic, I think he's a good, strong A rank mercenary. Just because that Howl of Terror can do a lot of damage. Even if you are not using melee comp, it's against melee comp as well. Then you can add that AoE damage, or in the worst case you just have him for a Terror Charge and Fell Lash. And you're golden. And I think... yeah, Manure is going to be an A. The Mighty Ragnarus, which is a Protector Elemental hero. So the Fire Lord has on level 1 3 attack and 10 health, which is decent enough. At level 15 it has 5 attack and 36 health. And then at level 30 he has 8 attack and 64 health. Very low health total. But for a very good reason he has such a low health total, because he's a very powerful character. So, his first basic ability is Magma Blast. 5 speed ability that deals 4 damage, and it's a fire ability, I should mention. And with fire combo, so if a fire ability has been used before Magma Blast, it deals 8 damage instead, so it doubles its own damage. Kinda. Why I'm saying kinda. At rank 3 it deals 8 damage, and then combo deals 16 damage. At rank 4 it does 9 damage base, it still does 16 damage on the combo. And at rank 5 it does 10 damage and combo does 18. So they didn't even increase by 1 point the damage for combo on rank 4. And then it lowers from double damage to just about. It's still 36 damage if you are attacking a fighter. It is a strong ability. And I think this is the first combo ability we have seen in Mercenaries, at least on this series. So I like to see this. It's definitely a powerful ability. But there is more. He has lots of fire abilities. So this one is Die Insects, is his famous quote. If you've never played World of Warcraft or Hearthstone, for that matter, he says that a lot. It's a fire ability that deals 6 damage to a random enemy. It's speed 10 though. So it's going to be the last one to act, which is very similar to his card in Hearthstone, which at the end of a turn dealt 8 damage to a random target. But this one, on a death blow, repeats itself. And then it increases to 12 damage, 18 damage on rank 3, which is good enough. And then you have some minor increases to 22 damage on rank 5. I think this is going to be amazing in PvE, because you can just use Die Insect and you pretty much are going to wipe your opponent. I think that is going to be his use for the Die Insect. Otherwise, the ability, if your opponent is low enough that you know you can take them out and you have a good amount of fire damage increase, yeah, you can use this. 22 damage is a lot, because that's a quarter of life of any character. So if you go for that Die Insect, they're going to start, well, dying. That being said, it's speed 10, so if they're going to work it out, they might want to nuke him down. It doesn't have any cooldowns though, so you can keep on using this. You can just click Die Insect every turn, even though Ragnaros is going to be acting last. he's just going to be doing tons of damage. And his final ability is Meteor, which is an 8 speed ability with cooldown 2. That's a long ass cooldown. It's a fire ability that deals 9 damage to a character and 4 damage to adjacent one. On rank 3, it deals 21 damage to any character, but the adjacent damage is always 4 damage even on rank 5, sorry. So at rank 5 it deals 25 damage and 4 to the adjacent ones. This is a lot of damage, and it can be spread out, and you target where it goes. 25 damage, it's bigger than Die Insect, and you target where it goes. It's a bit faster than that as well, but it has 2 turns cooldown, which means you can only use it every 3 turns. And that is, I think, going to be a bit problematic for this one. Of course, Magma Blast is also quite good with dealing damage, but I think it's going to be between using Die Insect and Meteor when you can. For his equipment, he has, I think this is the best equipment there is for him, and this is the reason why his life total is so low, is Blazing Rune. Just gives him +1 fire damage flat out. And it scales all the way up to +3 fire damage, which means your Die Insect does 25 damage. Just with Ragnarus here, if we have any other fire damage increase, that's just going to go up and up and up. And it will finally proc itself and just keep on casting until everyone dies, essentially. And yeah, and it also increases all the other fire damage. So this is one of the reasons why you want to make a fire comp. Because fire composition will be able to just abuse that Ragnarus's damage. That 3 damage might not look like a lot, but if you have it on every single ability you do, if you have abilities, I'm going to spoil a bit on the caster side, there's Antonidas which can cast multiple fireballs. So there is a lot you can do with this. His other equipment is Sulphurous, which passively increases his health by 5, and says that your character cannot be frozen. So you will always be able to use your abilities, etc., and increases the health for up to 20. So he can, if you are not using Blazing Rune, you can have a normal health pool, 84 actually being quite high, and protect yourself and your characters from being frozen. Problem is that lacking that fire damage might be detrimental. If frost comps are going to be actually a thing, Sulphurous might actually see some play, and that would be decent. At the same time, I don't predict that. And last one is Molten Core, which just flat out increases the damage by Magma Blast. So we didn't get anything per se for Meteor. We can increase the damage of Meteor to 7 on the adjacent ones. But I would like to see something, rather than Magma Blast support, maybe Meteor support. Although I think every single basic ability has an equipment support, so it is what it is. Ragnarus is very strong mercenary. He's fire support, and we are going to talk about fire, because fire comp I think is going to be the first comp I'm going to do on this channel. Just because Ragnarus exists and has Blazing Runes. That being said, I don't think he's as amazing as Arthur's, because he's not in of his own defining how you're going to play the game, and it's not like you can put him in any setup you want. So I think he is grade A. Thrall, the old Warchief of the Horde, is a Orc Protector. He's also a Shaman, if someone is curious about his class. So he's a 3 attack, 10 health mercenary on level 1. On level 15 he hits 6 attack and 40 health. And level 30 he hits 10 attack and 74 health, which is quite decent stats. It's right down in the middle. His first ability is For the Horde. It's a 5 speed ability. Give your orcs +1 attack. That's a permanent increase, which is really nice. And it's board wide to the orcs. And then attack an enemy. So he increases his own attack and then attacks. It's a melee character, quite obviously. And this one, if you're going for the orc build, you do want to level it up as far as possible. Because at rank 5, it does +5 attack to all your orcs, which with Samuro, Garrosh and other characters, it can be a very strong melee composition, And Orcs definitely one of the compositions I'm looking at, and Thrall is going to be right down in the center of it. Next one is Lightning Storm, which is a nature ability with 6 speed, deal 2 damage to all enemies, and it scales all the way to 10 damage. Having that breakpoint at rank 3 of 8 damage, it's a good AoE ability. It doesn't strike me as very, very powerful. You can make it faster, definitely, with Malfurion, but I don't think there is other interaction in here. Definitely prefer for the Horde, for the Orc interactions. And his final ability is Warchief's Command, which is 8 speed ability with 1 cooldown. It's a nature ability, which is interesting enough, so you can make it faster with Malfurion. This might be worth it. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. Your leftmost character attacks it. Okay, so it just increases the damage that it does all the way to 12, with a breakpoint being 10 points of damage on rank 3. Forcing the leftmost character to attack, if you build yourself correctly and have like a very high attack character on the left, and it's an Orc, and you use For the Horde a couple of times, I think For the Horde used a couple of times is going to be the important here, because you can get tons of attack. Like, we're talking tons of attack. Yeah, then this one giving you an additional attack with one of your biggest hitters might be important. At the same time, it would actually work quite funnily with Manure, which can just level out the attack of your opponent. Minus 15 attack to your opponent's field, and then attack a couple of times with your strongest melee unit. Yeah, that would be quite fun. But yeah, you deal damage with the nature ability, and then you force an attack with a character as well. That's a decent ability. His first equipment is Ornate Warhorn, which Warchief's Command deals 2 more damage, so it's flat out increased to the final ability. And it caps at 5 damage. We have seen equipment like that quite a few times already. Next one is Ring of Strength, passive. Whenever a friendly Orc is attacked, give them +2 health. And this scales all the way up to +8 health. This is really good for Orc comps, especially if you can get some Orcs with Taunt. Garrosh with Taunt and keeps on getting health, and anytime your opponent attacks it. Problem with this is that this is an anti-melee. This is not good against casters. So in PvP, it's going to be 50-50 when it works, when it doesn't. If the most popular comp on PvP is going to be melee, this is going to be amazing. If you're going to be unlucky and only get against casters, this equipment is going to do absolutely nothing. Doomhammer, passive, +2 attack and Wind Fury. So it scales for up to 5 attack. My question is, how does Wind Fury work? Whenever you trigger an attack, do you attack twice the same target? If so, Wind Fury is broken. Especially with Warchief's Command. Because if you give Thrall +5 attack, he becomes 15. Then you use For the Horde once, he becomes 20. Then you use Warchief's Call, you're going to hit for whatever you're going to hit for, and then you're going to hit again, because you attack twice because of the Wind Fury. If that's how it works, I think Doomhammer is going to be the pick for Thrall in any situation. Ornate Warhorn is alright. Ring of Strength might be really good, but I think Doomhammer is going to be where you want to be at. Getting Doomhammer and upgrading it, as we can see, is going to be quite expensive, and Thrall is a legendary character. I think Thrall, all in all, is really strong on his own. Yeah, I think he's not going to be slowing down your opponent, but he is a big beatstick. He has a decent life total, so any sort of support, any sort of healing is going to be amazing. Doomhammer is scary, because even for the Horde, you increase the attack by 5. So you're at 20 attack immediately. You attack twice, even with the For the Horde, just because For the Horde lets you attack. Then Warchief's command deals additional damage. Warchief's command, I think it increases damage a bit more as a one-off. Yeah, because it hits about 10. And then you attack twice. After you already used the For the Hold, that's going to be amazing. Because that can be a finisher. You can literally stop your opponent in their tracks. Because even For the Hold twice and you do, what, 90 damage? Yeah, I think Thrall is going to be a second character that I'm going to assign an S rank, and that's a second character, and both were in this episode. It's His Majesty himself, King Varian Rin. So Varian is a protector human with level 1, 3 attack, 13 health, which is quite high. Level 15, 7 attack, 44 health. And level 30, 12 attack and 78 health. It's massive. He's definitely a melee character. It's a nice stat line he has. It's fairly equal. Keeps in the upper end of the attack for all of the levels he's in. So his first ability is Splitting Strike. It's a 6 speed ability that says attack an enemy. Death Blow, give your humans +4 attack. The problem is, will you be proccing Death Blow that often? Probably not often, but after you do enough buffing of Varian, if there's any other way for him to get an attack, he's going to be amazing. Giving on rank 5, it gives +12 attack to all the humans. That includes himself. He's essentially doubling his attack if he's max level. It's a decent ability. It's just a basic attack something. I think that Death Blow is not going to happen as often, but I might be wrong on that one if he's able to build up himself. Next ability is Heroic Leap, 4 speed ability with 1 cooldown. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. Your other humans are permanently 1 speed faster. Permanently 1 speed faster to other humans, which means all of their ability across the board are 1 speed faster. I assume that the speed of an ability can't go below 1. But this is actually... So let's talk a bit about the damage. Damage is actually really good. For the cooldown ability, it might not be that much of a difference, but being able to act faster than your opponent, the longer the fight goes, the more your abilities will do. At rank 3, it deals 12 damage. At rank 5, it does 14 damage. I don't think there's ever a point where you want to upgrade it to rank 5 unless you have nothing to do with the coins. Dealing 12 damage and making your other humans quicker by 1 speed. I think, seeing as the speed is in brackets, we might see something that increases that increase. I would like to see something that increases that increase, because then the human comp might really be strong. And his final ability is Retaliation, which is 6 speed ability with 1 cooldown. After an enemy attacks this turn, attack it. Problem is that they need to attack after the Retaliation. So if you ever want to use Retaliation, if you're facing against a melee comp, something like that, you do need to upgrade it all the way to rank 5, where it's going to be speed 2. Because Varian doesn't increase his own speed with Heroic Leap. Still being able to attack multiple times, if you're facing against melee comp, you just use Retaliation. Anytime they attack, you attack it back. It doesn't say once. I don't think there's a way to give Varian Wind Fury, which is good, but if at any point there is going to be, this is going to be a tiny bit too broken. For his equipment, his first equipment we're going to look at is Charlemagne, which is his sword, which passively just gives him attack. But it increases the attack in bigger jumps than the other weapons we have seen, because this one just gives attack. So a passive gives, on the rank 1 gives 1 attack, but then it gains 2 attack gain per rank. So it goes all the way to +7 attack, which makes him quite respectable at 19 attack on maximum health. This is a scary prospect. He looks like he's going to have quite high attack for a melee character very quickly. Bounding Boots, Heroic Leap deals more damage, so this one is our flat out damage increase, and this one caps at 5, as we have seen multiple times. And War Banner, Retaliation also gives +1 attack first, and this one goes all the way to +4 attack. So I think, especially for PvP comp, Charlemagne is going to be the main choice. Just make yourself base 19 attack, Manure of can reduce you to 0, and then hopefully you can gain some decent attack with a Splitting Strike. Heroic Leap can make your other characters faster, so for example you can make your Anduin faster to heal your humans. Yeah, I like Varian. He's a strong character. I don't think he's strong enough to himself be deciding factor in building anything, but he is powerful enough. He's definitely a strong melee character, a good human comp cornerstone because he supports other humans. I'm not a big fan of melee characters just because attacking, yeah. But at the same time, they're going to be increasing their attack quite high, and I think Varian does that really, really well. And his Splitting Strike, I'm going to go back to his Splitting Strike for a second, just because his Splitting Strike is absolutely amazing protection against melee compositions, because it gives all your humans +12 attack, doesn't matter if they're casters or not. And if you have only melee comp, if you have human melee comp, this attack gain is ridiculous. I think PvE is going to be very easy to proc. I think PvP is going to be a bit different. PvP is really difficult to gauge because it all depends on what people are going to get and how people are going to deal with it, and also depends how difficult it's going to be to actually grind out all the coins you need to upgrade your characters. But I think Varian is definitely an A. Okay guys, so that was the last one. So that's all of the protectors reviewed now. This was the part 2. Just a reminder, there's a part 1 on the channel as well, so you can check the first part on all of the protectors. All of those have been data mined by Out of Cards, so make sure to check out their website if you want to have a thorough read through that. If you enjoyed the content, please let us know down in the comments. I'm so excited for Mercenaries. I'm going to be streaming it hopefully on the 12th of October, which is the release date, possibly on the 13th as well, and I will see how I'm working after that. But you can expect me streaming my struggles through everything, and it might be ridiculous streams, but make sure to come and watch. And if you feel so inclined, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel as well, because we are going to be covering more of the Mercenaries, as well as we're covering all sorts of card games, and this is technically a card game as well, hence I decided to have a look into it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video, which is going to be all about fighters.